I don't know. Welcome to Loric's obituary, where he gets to talk to you.
We're gathered here today to celebrate the life of Loric Hold, for lack of
And
better,
whatever he was.
for lack of other last name, and maybe this is a funeral for four, or maybe just three, or maybe it's only one. I don't know. Uh,
Could be, yeah, sure. Who knows?
well, welcome. This is our player interview for Brooks.
I
We've filmed two of these already. You're our third one on the docket. And what a somber one to step into here. Loric,
yeah.
I always mix up Brooks and Loric's real name, that's true. Brooks, you passed away just shy of level 10. How's it feel, man? Post game interview, how's it feel?
Um, we tried. We tried. It was a hard fight. We had him in the first half, but then we couldn't get through hell. We couldn't get through it, and we really needed that to get to the playoffs. By the time everyone came back, we were just out of shape, out of season. We were pushing paper, really, for months, and months is half of our life. So I would say that we were not ready to fight a semi glitchly looking thing that can control who's in control and who's not in our body. So yeah, I think we did our best. We'll get them next time if there is one. I don't think that there will be,
Yeah.
but maybe we'll get kicked out of the league. Who knows?
There you go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just a character interview to talk. We're halfway through the campaign. For you, we're all the way through the campaign. And
Yeah.
we're using this as an opportunity to let the audience check in and get some one-on-one individual time, because at level 5, quarter of the way through, Jesse and I talked, and we talked about you guys and how you came to be and what we thought of you and the kind of the arc that we're seeing so far, but we didn't get to hear from you guys. So what's your memory of how you joined the campaign?
How I joined the campaign was I knew that Abby Nielsen, our fantastic artist, and Theo Holloway, was a very good writer, and she was tutoring. It was her last semester tutoring, and I was with the most difficult professor before she left my college, which was a sad day. But when I first met her, she had a D20 hanging off of her backpack, and from that moment, I went, I really wish I could play D&D with this person. They're so cool. And she goes, I'm in a campaign, and there's only one guy, and he says he's cool with it, but we should probably get another guy. Do you want to play? And I went, yes, please. Oh my gosh. I tried to play it cool. I don't think I did. Um, and then I was finally able to have a campaign that was serious enough with DMs that were creative enough to make Loric happen. I had wanted to have someone similar to Loric for a couple of years, so he was definitely my darling, and you killed him.
Ooh,
Which I told you could do. As
yeah,
soon as we got together to talk about my character, I went, this is my baby. You can kill him at any point. I know
yeah,
you might not want to kill anybody, but like,
yeah.
you got to have some stakes. And so that was my way of contributing, was I
Yeah.
can die.
I remember texting with Abby, and just being like, "Oh gosh, we have my friend from kindergarten, Josie. We have my friend from 8th grade, Devin. We have me and Jesse and you, and then Danica is that, and I'm like, I mean, I could probably ring up somebody else, but like, we really wanted 6 players, and Jesse says he's fine with it, but we don't have any other guy. And I don't know. I feel like that's gonna be weird for him. I said, "Do you know any men who play D&D?" And she said, "I just asked Brooks Julius. He's in." So she didn't even
Yeah.
ask me if it was okay that you joined, which obviously it would have been. But I said, What do you mean you asked him already?" She said, "I'm sitting across from him right now." So
Yeah, we were texting during that tutoring thing. She would look at my thing, write a little thing, hand it back to me, and then she would text you. And that was
oh,
what I was more locked in on at the time, to be honest. I was like, oh my gosh, D&D, finally.
oh my god, yeah. And so we know that like Loric had been on your mind for a while, the concept of him anyway.
Yeah.
And
My
this
light box just
was
turned off.
your giant television. Oh, okay.
Yes, my giant television.
And so it was, like you said, just finally this opportunity to, it was a good setting for him to be in. Um, uh, where did the idea for Loric start then? Because he's certainly the most complicated character. I think he's the character that the other players understand the least, and probably that both DMs don't understand him to the full extent even that you do. And I remember getting a text from you to Jesse and I saying, okay, I'm going to be, a roughly young adult minotaur. That might be his real body, that might not be. And there's going to be 3 spirits that live inside and rule it, and they're protecting the boy. And I was going, Jesse, you got all that? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with anything, well, not anything, but most things, art is theft, right? So I took my major inspirations and I kind of crammed them all together. Uh, I'll list them all real rapid fire. I I watched the movie Split with the split personalities and this little tiny superhero universe that they have going on. Um, I watched the Jason Bourne with my mom because she loves Jason Bourne. It's one of her favorite things. They're watching it downstairs right now, actually, because it's
Wow.
almost her birthday. So I took those two ideas and I combined them with this idea of the reflection of the Trinity in humanity. And I thought, okay, instead of having a million personalities, what if I could focus on just a couple and really get to know them, right? And if they had a purpose, which was in the movie Split, there's one real guy, like it's actually him, and he develops all of these personalities based off of childhood trauma, right? So he has to have some sort of protection between him and what's going on, and so that's how they develop. And I thought, okay, well, what if there's like a curse going on? So I went kind of back to fairy tales with it, and I thought of, if I could split it into 3 manageable chunks, I could sort of get that reflection of God and man, while also having this set of personalities that are designed to protect a young child, which is very noble. Um, this innocent person, and I also thought that it would add a lot of player interaction that would be interesting. A reason to have a secret, a reason to betray people that you don't want to, that you love deeply. Luckily I didn't have to do it very much,
Yeah.
but when your whole life's purpose is to protect one thing, all of a sudden, no matter how much you love everything else, you have to be willing to give those things up. Um, and I really wanted deep player interaction in my character without having it be, oh, I'm just a lone wolf. Oh, like this is what happened to me, and that's why I'm stealing your backpack right now.
Yeah.
I wanted good, meaningful interaction that would last with me for life, and that's kind of how it all came to be. It's a mixture of the player I wanted to be and the media that I loved, and I put it all together.
Wow. 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 One of my favorite things about Loric is that he grew up as the campaign went along, and it
Yeah.
was it was really skillful and very gradual in that, like, session 1, blah 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 blah, we're playing, and then session 12, you left around 14, I think. Um, we didn't notice necessarily like Loric's a lot more grown up this session, but we saw, I am looking back at old episodes often enough in editing that, we're in session 10 in the forest, and I go back to edit, I don't know, clip something from session 2 or whatever, and Loric is a baby in session 1, and it not only shows in your acting. I mean, the wide-eyed looking around at everything in the world and taking it all in and asking so many questions, and you're speaking like a child. But also in purposeful or not, your lighting and staging and angles, like you put the camera higher up and look down on you so you look very small, and the lighting is like bright in your face and completely dark around you so you look like
Yeah.
deer in headlights, like, and then to now you're like a normal person on camera and you talk like, I would say at the time of death, Loric was certainly talking just like an adult. I mean,
Yeah.
20s to 30s year old man. But he went through, I think with Megan mainly, like a teenager phase. So talk about like what the thought process was like behind that, and then how did you pace yourself?
Yeah, so I didn't know how long Loric would live, right? Because I always had in the back of my mind that he could die at any point, right? He's a bodyguard, even though he's trying to protect his body the whole time, something could happen. And I gave you full license to do that. So I knew that I had it to age him up a little bit faster than just the time in the envoy, right? And you went through this a little bit too with your character being a fresh adult grung to a third older, well, I guess 50% older than she was if you count life experience prior, right? So I knew that it had to be somewhat fast, and so I baked that into the spirits and who they were, that they would have to age quickly and be designed to be able to take on experiences quickly. And I wanted first to have emotional growth, and then much later lagging behind intellectual growth, because they are emotions, right? So they're going to connect better with things like that. So I started him off, like you're saying, very childlike. It was very convenient for me to be able to hand him off for the teenage phase, because someone who is genuinely new to this body is playing that stage, and then I got to
Yeah.
pick
Oh,
him
that's
back up
really
in
good.
adult.
And Megan doesn't get to be in the Loric interview, but Megan was very, she was thinking about that when she was playing Loric, of like, he's been growing up. I think he's in his like kind of rebel teenage phase, challenging authority, like what can I try here, what can I. And that does lend itself very nicely to, literally, I'm new to this character in this
Yeah,
body. The only thing I can think of off the top is Loric saying, "Princess, would you like to leave?" when
yeah.
Cyrus was questioning her.
Mhm. Yeah, young Loric definitely would not have done that. I think old Loric would have done something to the same effect, maybe a little bit more tactfully.
Yeah.
And I think it's just perfect. I really love that scene. I hear about it a lot. I get to know about it, and I love that it's a part of who Loric is. And we've mentioned now handing off to Megan. I briefly handed off for other characters, other players to guest star. Having three people play Loric felt
Really
really good for me.
cool. One
Yeah.
second. My parents might call up to me and I don't want them to think I'm dead. They always go, "Joe, we're home." And I go, "Okay." And then they are done. But one second. Maybe. No.
Do they not want to see if you're alive today?
They apparently don't want to talk to me. I can hear their car door shutting. Maybe they haven't come inside yet. I hear y'all got home. I'll leave an ear off. Just in case. Ugh. But, that looks silly. There we go. Yeah, Carter came on and played, I think he played Lord twice, maybe? And
I think twice. Yeah.
somewhere in all of that, we said, like, 3 players, 3 spirits. I wish it was a perfect 1-to-1, and obviously it's not. Like, but
Yeah.
that would be really funny if, because Megan played Wrath more than you have, I think.
I think, yeah, there was a lot of hope and a little bit of fear in the beginning. I was barely rolling Wrath to the point where Maverick's session with his father, I had to ask to switch to Wrath because I
Yeah.
could not roll it.
And it's like,
And then in the end, it was all
obviously he'd
fear.
be wrathful right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
showed up, I think, as Hope, which was like the most ill-equipped spirit to handle what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My mother answered me. Um, ow! Hang on.
Oh, did I
Hair.
catch your hair?
Yeah, hair fix time. What the helly? Um. Oh, where'd it go? Bruh. Yeah, which was actually that was the next thing that I had written down. There is a picture somewhere of you, Carter, and Megan standing in a triangle and talking to each other, and I was like, "This is the inside of Loric's
There's,
mind right now."
yeah,
But yeah, you played a lot of fear, especially at the end,
yeah,
to the point where like when Wrath came, forced his way forward and talked to Leica in the Grung colony, I felt like uncomfortable. Like I felt like I was talking to a stranger. Me, Leica. I was
yeah.
like, oh, it's like your partner's brother comes out and starts talking to you, and like your partner went in the other room, and you're like, oh, haha, yeah, no, totally, like, and especially with Wrath going, I know what's happening. I know something's happening. What's going on?
Yeah.
But
Oh, poor Wrath. I think he got it the worst out of all of them.
you didn't play him very much.
Well, it's not just that. I'm talking about like ending wise. Hope went silent at the end,
Yeah.
right? But Hope had a very good life. Contributed very well. Made a lot of friends for Loric proper, right? Doesn't get to see the tragedy that ends up happening, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Wrath is relegated to being backseat without Hope anymore, right? So just no interaction now. For the end, doesn't know what's going on, and then is forced to almost kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
While
horrid.
Fear is like kind of one-handing the steering wheel for a little bit. I don't know what was did Fear have a reason for wanting to do that? Was it trying to see what was happening with Leica or something else?
I think it was definitely like a so in when they were younger, I played them more as this was something that was definitely out of their hands. The dice roll was very thematic. In the end, I was imagining that even though it's not necessarily my choice, that it is theirs, right?
Yeah.
And that Fear had the most reason to be there. There was a lot of new things going on. There wasn't a lot of combat happening until like right at the very end, and there was this whole series of things that were flooding open with Leica all of a sudden. Um, a very advantageous thing for Laura Proper to just have somebody who cares about him, and that Fear cared about Leica, So the backseat, I don't think Wrath was against the idea, but it does suck, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And his whole 99% of the time his existence was hurting people and being in dangerous situations and having, I'd say, higher stakes in his role in protecting Loric. I mean, if your logic messes up, you learn a hard lesson or something goes wrong or whatever. If your hope goes wrong, you get your hopes up over something and it doesn't work. It's much different than like, all right, well, if I don't fight good enough in this forest, we'll die. Like, Loric's body will die a little
yeah,
too early.
yeah, or if you don't have the heart to do what needs to happen,
Yeah.
like session zero, um, nobody wanted to kill that guy who was very clearly trying to kill Loric. Uh, and I think you kind of see that go away a little bit as he gets older, mostly because I don't think he fully understands death for other people. And that's the sad thing for Loric is that he always thought at the end, okay, everybody else can come back from death. Don't know how, it's weird. But this gut feeling of emptiness of if I die, I am not my own being. I'm this fragmentation. just gone. Like if anything comes back, not going to be me. And they don't know if that's true or not. But um, I think they always had the knowledge of if Lork comes back, we're dead in a way that is more final than anybody else. And if we fail, we're dead in a way that is more final than anybody else. You know? Um, so I think in the end, that's really deep, but I think in the end they were okay killing people a little bit more because they went, oh, it's fine. Like they go somewhere else
Yeah.
and they continue to exist.
Everybody else
You
gets
know?
something after death. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And you've seen an in-proportionate number of people come back from the dead. So,
Yeah.
like on day
Yeah.
4 of being alive. So, was
Right
there
away.
was there any kind of like hard adjustment period when Megan handed him back to you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it wasn't just Loric that I had to get used to. It wasn't just Loric that I had to learn how to replay in this new sense of age, but it was really the whole envoy had grown in ways that I wasn't really expecting. You know, everybody had their own little storylines that were playing through and changing their character, if not aging, you know, directly. So that was really interesting to kind of maneuver Loric through a wizened envoy, a battle-hardened envoy, people that have started to see people get burned and have family trauma and all this stuff that now affects everybody. In the beginning of the envoy, you know, if some of the stuff that had happened in the middle or towards the end would have happened, we would have gone, man, sucks, buddy,
Yeah.
you know? And all of the
Yeah.
nations would kind of stayed with themselves. But now, you know, Maverick goes up to a volcano and everybody has sacrifices ready for him
Yeah.
of just random people. There's not a single one of us that I feel like could have something tragic happen to them and the others turn a blind eye, you know?
Yeah.
Other than maybe Theo, because Theo's just now alive again.
Theo has something going on, and no one knows what to do with Theo, so they just are kind of like, well, when we have a second to kind of slow down, we'll talk to you and figure out what's going on. But yeah, like if Maverick, I mean, even when Maverick killed his father in session 6, I don't think Laura, that's my real name, Loric or Laika cared too much or paid much attention to it, because it was like, yikes, you see what Imperia's going through right now?
Yeah. Loric was definitely heartbroken for him, but I don't think in the way that he would have been, you know.
If it happened now.
He wanted at the time to be friends with Maverick, to make this connection, but it hadn't happened yet. That comes later, you know.
Yeah.
I really love the connection between Maverick and Loric. That was one of the times that Wrath did come back, was to just be upset with Maverick for not trying harder to stay around.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, you punched him.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, because everyone else was making sacrifices to, you know, stay around, and he wanted to be a better man, which Loric definitely should have let him do, but was not at the stage. No matter how much growth he had done, he's still only so old. You know?
Yeah. And I think like that, two things that I was going to say that tie in really nicely to each other, I had written down to talk about your friendship with Maverick. You have a friendship with Maverick unlike a friendship with any of the other people. I mean, not much of a friendship with Heidi or Theo or Bart or, you know, whatever. You, in the beginning of the campaign, rode along with the kids a lot. Bart, Theo, Kiana. And then as you got older, you shifted over to like, well, I'm going to talk shop with Maverick and Heidi and Cyrus, but like kind of a fluctuation there on that. But you, I don't know when, probably the ball? No. After the ball. Became friends with Maverick. The ball, when you told him about the spirits, was probably a good turning point, though.
It was for sure. So this goes back honestly to session, I think two or maybe even one, whichever one. What is her name? Clementine. Whatever
Clementine.
Clementine was there.
That was
Um,
session 2 because I did it.
yeah. So Loric looks around at the envoy, right? Really cares for Leica, wants to protect Kiana, right? Isn't really concerned with what you can offer him because he doesn't know what royalty is yet,
Yeah.
other than friendship, right? Looks at Cyrus. Cyrus is insane
Cyrus is so
and goes,
crazy.
she's probably cool, but she's not going to want to protect. Goes to the whole envoy in this way of looking at, how good of a thing would this be for Loric proper if he came back, and looks at Maverick and sees through all of the political whatnot and nonsense that he throws up to see that he's a really caring person and that he has the means to protect somebody. Like he's doing it with Theo, who already knows how to protect herself, obviously, and yet he's still lending himself to let me make sure that you're okay in every single sense of the way. Um, and so at the beginning of session two, everybody had a metagame reason, or maybe it was the end of session one. Everyone had a metagame reason that they were trying to get to speak with Maverick because he had a girl in his room.
Yes, everyone was trying to bust him.
Yes. And at the end, I go up, something that I had planned for a while, which was he's hungry, so hungry. He needs food. Who's he going to reach out to? It's Maverick, the person he thinks is going to be a protector and take care of him, right? So I go up there and I get busted for potential metagaming, and he gives me a gold coin, and I think from there it really started,
Yeah.
with Loric wanting a deep friendship with him, and then like you said at the ball, revealed himself because he trusted and started to gain an actual friendship, you know.
And I think like tying that into what is the biggest elephant in the room, that is maybe the only point of disagreement that Leica and Loric have ever had is
Yeah.
there's this huge maverick shaped wedge, that I don't think overall it really affected Leica and Loric's relationship or friendship, but it was always a point of discussion. Always, every single point, it was a point of discussion of I don't know that Leica has not always had any kind of disdain for Maverick. She looked up to him for a very long time, as we know. But I think even starting around the ball, shortly after the ball, seeing that he was kind of flippant about everything and not taking things very seriously and whatever, it was a little bit of a just annoyance there. And then obviously with this big reveal, this big betrayal, it flips hard the opposite way. But it's interesting that, we've discussed the ball was the first time that Fear and Leica met. And that was the night that you looked the most like, I don't know what Loric is probably supposed to look like, considering that your dad's a sea elf. It's the closest you've ever looked to what Loric probably is supposed to look like. And I was the one there. And we danced together, and that was like the first time that Fear and Leica would have met each other. But and that was also the same night that you had this turning point with Mav.
Yeah. We've talked about how crazy it is, that night specifically with Loric and Leica, how strange it is that your session and my dice roll kind of matched up well with one another to make this beautiful storyline. How crazy it is that you were there looking for a dance partner and couldn't find anybody who was interested in a freshly available princess. Someone who, for them, just a month ago was a child.
Yeah.
And was all of a sudden now a full princess. That moment was beautiful. That moment that I had with Maverick, where he tells me that everything's gonna be okay and suggests that I tell others slowly. Steers me who to tell and when. That was really sweet. But for sure, at that moment, we're both bonded. Me with Maverick, me with Leica, And so when this betrayal comes up, in the back of my mind, as Loric is always trying to redeem people, right? In a sense, that's what he's trying to do with himself. He doesn't know why the curse has happened, but he's trying to redeem, in a sense, Loric proper. So always looking for forgiveness. And along with that was the fact that he helped kill Maverick's dad and learns about Cedar and learns of the remorse that Maverick has that's beyond the front that he has politically, right? How he truly cares. And so when Maverick begs for forgiveness essentially with you, Loric took that to mean everything and more, and slowly tried to get you to give that forgiveness for something that was horrible, was not excusable, but definitely was in the past. That's a hard thing to do, especially since the past for Loric and for Leica is so relative and so in your face.
So recently. Like, it doesn't matter if it was the beginning of your life. It's so recent still. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I really loved how whenever Loric and Leica talked about Maverick, you always went from, I'm going to kill him, he's the worst, I hate him, I never want to talk to him, to I'll tolerate his being around me
Yeah.
a little bit more.
No one can talk Leica down like Loric can. And it's fast and steep. Like, anything, Maverick or anybody, any situation, anything. It goes from, I hate him, I hate him, I can't stand him, I'm not gonna do this, we're going back to Abyssinia, I'm leaving the envoy, I'm never gonna talk to him again, he sucks. And you go, I just, like, think about it this way, and I couldn't even tell you what you say to me, and she goes, okay, I'm mad at him, he's not a bad person, I'm just mad at him.
Yeah. And those are definitely blackout moments for me, where I'm just in the character, reacting to who I know Leica to be and who I know Leica wants to be, and trying to speak to that, to choose the words that will breed the most love between everybody, that's specific to who Leica is, So
Yeah.
I can't tell you what I say either, because it's just a whirlwind of we're caught in it. And I feel like one of us always ends up crying. I've cried so much in the campaign between Loric and Leica interactions.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think that you and I, in some other world, life, whatever, should play a divorced couple. I think we would do that really well. Just like a nasty divorce couple. I think we do that really well. But yeah, we're both very sweeping in roleplay moments, and we both of us cried a lot. But yeah, I think that for for Leica, though, all of these conversations where he brings me back down from ready to push Maverick off a cliff. Hey, buddy. Sorry, I was about to text you. Jesse's here now. We were just talking about Loric being able to bring Leica down when she's all mad at Maverick, and I was saying that it definitely de-escalates her in the moment. It, as we saw, did not make her forgive Maverick. It just made her love Loric and really be wanting to be like him, and kind of seeing that as we go through. But I texted Danica this after Loric's death, and I texted you this, I think. Any remaining negative sentiments that Leica had towards Maverick about the twin thing completely washed away the moment that he washed your body off in the ocean. That's such a it's a it's an apology that he could never verbalize the level of sentiment of, and it's an eye-opening, regardless. This whole situation is like Leica's gonna kill herself, but a fully changing thing for Leica anyway. But it's coming to this realization of, like, I've always said I want to be like Loric, and Maverick very clearly looks up to him the same amount that I did. And it seems like, I don't know what's going to happen when we come back into Terrador, and we're in Abyssalian jail. But it kind of seems like Maverick might be the only one mourning this hard, as hard as Laika might be. And I think that would be quite a, like, he would never try to say, like, I'm gonna miss him more than you kind of thing. But, like, oh, good. Someone else gets that this is world-ending bad thing to happen. And isn't just like, how can we get out of this jail? Let's get back to the quest, But, going back in time slightly, neither one of us, set out on a romance happening, and it had happened to us and was pointed out to us.
Yeah, it happened to us and we didn't notice for so long, is the funny part there. I love how we got told that and we went, yeah, I could see that happening. And then when we started to look back, we went, oh, it has been. Like, we wouldn't have to really add to anything or force this. We just have to do what we were doing and mention it. That was crazy to get that text and that conversation with Megan of, so you guys are like, you like each other. And we go,
no. What? Do we? Brooks, do we? And
yeah.
Jesse,
I think what solidified it was the ball, for sure.
The
when
realization,
went, oh.
Yes, yeah. Jesse, I don't know. I know I've said this to you before, but what he's referencing is the first time that Laika meets Fear, specifically, is at the Tashad Ball. The night that he is a sea elf. No, he's not. That he is an elf, because he's Fletch Holloway. And the night that we dance together is the first time that Laika and Fear meet each other. And so when we went back to see, like, Fear's been fronting the most, and Laika, whatever. Whenever we go back to see when's the first time they met, it's at the dance where they dance together, and she can't find a romantic partner, and she's all pissed off about it.
Yeah, and he was looking for a powerful woman.
He was looking. I forgot all about that.
Care of him.
He was looking for a powerful woman that night. It was so strange. Jesse, do you remember right after our All Together session 0 when Loric and Kiana had some kind of interaction where he's just, I don't know, he complimented her or something, like said something about she looked very pretty or something. And then we went back upstairs, we sat on your couch. Do you remember what you said?
I don't remember having an all session 0.
We did, because that's where Joel said, you were playing Joel, and Maverick said, can't you get somebody else to go? And Joel said, yeah, you. That was an all-together session 0.
Oh. It's been so long, I cannot
That was
remember.
a million years ago. We went back upstairs, and we sat on your couch, and we were talking about everything, and went back over, like, oh, Loric, and whatever. And you said, there was like a long pause, and then you said, I really hope that Brooks isn't trying to, like, do a romance with us since we're playing the same character, and, well, there's a pretty obvious complication with that, like, just laughing about that.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't think he is. I mean, he's kind of playing like a baby, and Brooks has a partner in real life. I don't think that's what's happening. And it wasn't, but now it is.
No, and it worked out really that we didn't know for so long, because you can go back and trace all this interaction, specifically with Laika, that I, as a player, wouldn't have been able to create if I wanted to. I would have been awkwardly flirting with you, as I do in real life now.
Yeah.
As Liana. So.
Right.
If Brooks didn't, because Brooks didn't, wink wink, yeah, he would have just been flirting with Jesse and me, and The dice do really tell the story. It only pays attention to one half of the frog, but Jesse comes in at kind of the perfect time. We can circle back to anything that we've already said if we want to, obviously, but I'd love for Jesse to talk about the creation of Serpentros a little bit. Serpentros.
Oh, yeah.
Serpentros, yeah.
Serpentros.
I know nothing about Serpentros. He's been a mystery to me this whole time.
And now you'll never see him again. So
yeah,
right.
He killed me.
So, if it hasn't been obvious in the episodes that we've seen him, he was heavily based off of Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Heavily based off him. And we may or may not get more information about that connection with Davy Jones and Serpentros, but I mean, really, whenever I was creating, because like Brooks presented, I know, I call Brooks Loric so often, it's crazy.
Joe said that at the beginning of the interview. And it's so true, it happens all the time.
All the time. Sorry, a student just sent me a friend request. No. No. But whenever Brooks texted us and it was like, "Hey, for as far as backstory, just free range, do everything." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I pictured before Brooks even got to play Loric. Was it established that we were going along the lines of like pirate-esque, like sailor? I could not remember what came first.
So in my session 0, it was at least solidified by then, because the first guy that Loric sees die is a piratey mermaid kind of guy.
Right.
So that hinted at it, had the tattoo that hinted at it, and wanted me to come back to, I guess, the crew that I had no idea what was going on at the time.
Right.
So at least by session 0, you had it locked in.
Gotcha. So in that case, Serpentros, Morthar, Loric's dad, and Loric himself is all based on the story. Serpentros being Davy Jones, Loric being whatever the guy was, Orlando Bloom's character.
Yeah.
And then the dad, who was a slave to Serpentros, is the dad in the movie. So basically, I just really liked that trio relationship. Very complex. Obviously, we have our own twists and turns on it. But that's solely what he was based off of.
You played him really well. Having this ever-present thing hunting me in the sea, where I'm from, Appalachia, is very scary. Whenever I go home, I'm at the place that I'm most in danger, and we're constantly doing sea travel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He knows where you're at constantly, especially whenever you're black spot beard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was sealing the deal of tracking you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At first, I really thought he was my dad. Back when I wanted everybody to be my dad.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, okay, not my dad, but kind of a cool guy. He's like misunderstood.
Nah.
No, he sucked. I wanted to redeem him so bad.
No, he just sucked.
And he was just
Yeah.
I know. Whenever we had scenes to where like I was trying to be all scary and intimidating, and Laura could just be like, "Hey, man," hand on shoulder, "What's going on? What's going on?" I'm like, "Okay."
You seem mad today. You seem mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely him going, maybe he's my dad, maybe he's not, but maybe we could be friends. Kind of the way that he hoped things would go with Maverick, and it did. He was
Right.
trying to see that in this guy, and then that guy just.
Maverick's not my dad, but he could. But we're at least friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You learn that Maverick has a son, and you go, "Is Maverick,
Brother."
Is Fabric my
Well, his
dad?
son has horns, right? He's got the deer horns.
His son has deer horns.
Yeah.
He apparently gives
So.
birth to horned men.
He
He gives birth. Ah!
Birth.
Anyway, yeah, I had nothing. When I tell you I had nothing to do with Serpentros, when I tell you I never knew what was going on, and I never knew what was going to happen with him, and you'll notice I never once played him. So
Yeah.
every time I wanted like plot wise for a Serpentros beat to happen, I would text Jesse and go, "Your next session, please," and and just tell him to please do it, please.
Yeah.
But I liked the story. I didn't want to embarrass us by playing a pirate, and I didn't understand what was happening, and Jesse did, and he was really passionate about it. So
Except that one time that I accidentally made him almost say a slur.
that's crazy.
I don't remember that. What?
I forget. It was whenever you and Bart were transported onto the ship,
Yeah.
and you were acting like you weren't just caught. Because I was like, I just found you guys, and you guys were like, "Oh, we're behind this barrel," like clearly clear as day. And I almost slipped out the R word. What do you think I'm?
Jesse was too into it. He was too into his conservative roots.
I slipped back into 2012 right there. And,
Man, that would have really cemented Serpentros as evil.
Yeah.
It would have been horrible for the channel, but
I'm pretty sure that was one of the first times we went live on Twitch.
oh no.
I was like, oh no.
The joke of like, Megan, stop, we're gonna have to cut that out. You said a slur, but Jesse actually did. He didn't.
I didn't.
There's no
caught
proof.
myself.
Growth, I guess. Yeah, that's really funny. Well, Jesse, we talked about character creation and how he joined, which I don't know if you know this. It was, hey, we have 5 female players and Jesse. He says he doesn't care, but I feel like there should be another guy. Megan, or not Megan. Abby, do you know any men that play D&D? And she said, I just asked Brooks Julius and he's in. So that was how we found him. And then we talked about like this growing up process of him being a baby back in session 1, and now he's like a fully grown adult. Well, now he's dead, but you know. And then
A fully grown dead guy.
a fully grown dead guy. And then we talked about the Carter and the Megan playing him for sections, him getting back into it. I did skip over Hell. You just happened to skip straight from Megan to Leica, but as Serpentros stuff is building and like you're getting more and more visits with him and this black spot appears and all this stuff, then we plunge into Hell. What was... Because we did not have any kind of plan that Loric would not make it through Limbo. What was that session like for you?
It was really odd for me, because I didn't know what you were going to say when I texted. I asked, what happens if I don't get through Limbo? And if the answer was you die, or you're stuck here forever, then I was going to have to make a decision that I didn't know how to make. That the spirits didn't know how to make, and I wouldn't know what to do. So I'm really glad that you answered the way that you did, because giving up either of the options that were on my little sheet of you have to give up this possibility or this possibility were both central to who Loric proper would turn into to be if he ever got a chance to live, and central to the mission of each of the Guardian personalities. So to have this idea that you can't do what you've been set out to do, you can't fulfill your life's purpose, and you won't be able to do anything about it because you'll die, would have been horrifying. But I definitely think that if we had gone another route and I had to give up something, one of those two options, that Loric would not have been able to be the same Loric that we knew by the time that he passed. That there would have been just irreconcilable heartbreak that would carry him all the way through. I don't think we would have gone through this romance line with Leica, because the amount of damage done to his psyche would have been too intense, I think, to really consider anything moving forward that has to do with Lord Proper's life. You know, the very existence of them would have been lost. And so this idea that you would set up Loric proper for a good relationship in the future is already out of the window, you know. So it was a very odd session to be handed that and no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I didn't know that you were gonna say no, like not gonna do it. I didn't know that Jesse wasn't gonna choose, and I didn't think that Abby would die. So I was truly in the middle on Theo of if she would choose to die or if she would choose to, you know, renounce. And I could see either one. Some of them were better than others, admittedly. Like Heidi's, she was like, yeah, easy, I don't have a family. Bonk, I'll choose it.
Right.
Screw those guys. And then some of you, it was an absolutely impossible choice. And for some of you, like Cyrus's and Theo's, I had no idea which one they were going to choose. And they could have chosen either one, and it would have been equally as interesting for Josie to forget Kai or Troy, or for Theo to die or to renounce her god. But yeah, the two options were to never find out what happened with your parentage or to never figure out what you are. Right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know what I thought you would have chosen. I don't think I had one in mind.
Yeah, to not know what would happen to the spirits afterwards, to not know what would happen to Lord Proper, to maybe forget Lord Proper, any of that, any of the foundation of what motivated them would be insane. And then to know that they could not ever find Loric's parents or parent or know of who they were was equally horrifying, because you don't know how old Loric Proper is. He could be a baby, he could be a man in his hundreds, you know, anywhere in between. So as the spirits, you're hoping to just go for every eventuality, which is if this is a child, then they're going to need a support system. They're going to need a parent. So as much as it scared him, all of them, to leave the envoy through the rest of the layers of hell on their own, especially Kiana, who he had no idea how that was going to work out. The heat was already getting to him. He knew that the heat would be getting to Kiana. To have that sort of abandonment really was what I was talking about earlier, where I said that his core goals were going to cause interesting things to happen with other player characters, and to ultimately have to do a form of betrayal. I know that nobody really saw it that way, that when everyone got out of hell, they didn't go, Loric, you horrible person, how dare you not come with us? You know, Leica didn't go, where were you? Everyone was very understanding, and that was very nice.
I went, oh my god, that was horrible. Why did I stay longer? I should have left when you did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really lovely reunion. Everything that he could have hoped for, but definitely not what he expected. I think Loric expected he's going to have to mend a lot of relationships when they get out, and figure out how to live with himself if some of them don't.
Yeah.
You know, so crazy session for me.
Yeah. Jesse, can you talk about that last session? Oh, you ask your question first. I was just going to ask you to talk about the last session.
I was going to say, while we're on hell, just out of my own curiosity, if Loric managed to go through all the rest of the layers of hell, what do you think would have been his challenges through each layer?
Ooh, excellent question.
So we'll start with lust.
I was going to say, we might need to remind him of what they are, but...
I don't think Loric would have had a problem with lust, and I don't think that we would have thought about it either, because we didn't know what Megan had really drawn out for us, which was the Loric-Leica relationship.
Right, but
So I don't think
not
he would have thought to
everybody's
put that
was a romantic or sexual lust either.
in. Yeah.
It
Bart,
was about like your desires.
yeah, I don't remember. Bart didn't. That wasn't where he dreamed about the family, right? That wasn't even.
I think it was.
Was
I
it?
think it was.
Well,
Yeah.
I know that Bart and Heidi. Well, Bart, Heidi,
Heidi's
Loric,
was about
and
power.
Cyrus. But it was about
Huh.
Azai too. There was one about Azai. Because I played him.
Yeah.
So
I think
Anyway.
Azai's was about Heidi. Heidi's was about power. Maybe.
I most certainly played Azai in hers. I know that to be true. But you did multiple layers, remember? You had 3 for each person. 3 things that they really wanted.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think that if y'all had asked me what to go through, if you had gotten stumped, that a vision of Loric proper would definitely be incorporated in there in some way. Most likely reunited with the family with probably Kiana and Maverick at least by his side, if not the whole envoy, right? I think that at the time he was really loving being in general and this idea of being loved by a nation. So I think Abyssalia and maybe all of the nations would have some token of affection shown in whatever was causing him problems. And I think that finding a third thing would be really difficult because everything is about Lord proper, his relationships, and giving him the respect and love that he deserves in the mind of the guardian spirits. So I think that if we had to come up with a third, it might feel disingenuous. That he's a very, very one-tracked or two-tracked mind sort of person before Leica really creates a third category in his mind. So
It would have been food.
Food's a good one for really early
endless
Loric. Yeah.
Really
yeah.
cool. The
Well,
next
even
one
that
is
one
greed.
to him. Okay, so greed was the
Gluttony was
poker
next,
game.
but
It was the diner where you had to order certain
Oh.
foods that were tailored toward your specific guilty pleasures.
gluttony was.
Oh, gluttony. Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab my.
Yeah, the other G.
I think for Loric with gluttony that there would be a lot of once again getting praise, getting recognition, or having support in general. Things to do with people, because as much as he wants for Lord Proper all of the spirits, there's nothing really material there that doesn't tie back to somebody or a group of people, right? So I think that if you could have like a drink of what looks like water and it's the impassioned tears of people who are happy to see him, you could have a feast of some homemade thing of somebody that loves him, like a traditional homemade feast that when anybody eats it, no matter where they're from, it brings nostalgia. That sort of thing would have been there for him. And I don't think he would have had a hard time with it, to be honest, because everything is in the future for Loric except for the envoy. So I think just being around the envoy would make it really easy for him to step away from the food and go, we're moving on. Okay. I'll follow you guys wherever you go, because that is the immediate family network that he had really centered himself around and had high hopes for.
Yeah.
So the diner would have been, I think, him eating until almost everybody is done and go, oh, we're getting up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the next one? Was the next one
Greed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greed's the casino.
So greed would be really interesting for him, because the only thing that he had to wager really was a couple of possessions, right? Some of them were very valuable in terms of the scale and so on and so forth, right? But really, other than that, he had his title as general to wager. So I don't think that he would have wagered anything unless he was very confident um, in whatever number he got. I think he would have left unless he had the highest or second highest number, right? Um, and I don't know what he would have wanted really. I don't know what the game master that it was Megan who was DMing that one, right? I don't know what she would have come up with to tantalize Loric. Um,
Into material
but
wealth. Yeah.
yeah, because if they can't give something that is once again tied to a person, tied to a relationship, then I don't think Loric really would have even bothered trying to give up anything for it. You know?
Well, and Megan did try to like used car salesman it a little bit, and so like she didn't think that she could. Maverick already has everything, so she knew she couldn't tempt him with that. But she tried to tempt him with, a family home that's exactly how Clementine wants it, and it has a bedroom that is exactly how Cedric wants it to be. Like, like less of a lavish and more of a it's perfect. Like it's exactly what you would want. I think a lot of these are easier to design a temptation for each layer for Loric if he was already in love with Leica during it.
For sure. Yeah. Without knowing that, really, there's not much. I think that you would have to threaten really his position with the envoy, and then hand it back to him for most of these. But while he's with them, while he's traveling with everybody and surrounded by these people that he loves, I don't think it would be hard for him to keep his eyes on what is his prize. Everybody's there to help Bart and Bart's family. Everyone's there to complete the goal of the envoy, but Loric is there to love on these people and get love back from them. So yeah, definitely he's hard to tempt unless you try to take away the stuff that he already has. He's a very content individual. Aside from trying to figure out who he is and who his family is, which was the two things that I was threatened to get rid of.
So then, like, rapid fire, what if you have any major thoughts about the rest of them? It's heresy, sloth, violence, treachery, fraud.
Yeah. Heresy would definitely be that he worships the boy, for sure. Like the thing that he would have to pledge allegiance to that rules him would be the thing that he already knows. So for other people, I think there was a lot of I've pushed this to the back of my mind that this rules me and I have to give allegiance to it, or revelations. But I think Loric was very comfortable with it, and that I don't know what the consequence would have been. I don't know what the brand would have been that he would not want to take. I think everything would probably just reinforce that he has to be able to make these sacrifices. That as a story point would have been really beautiful to see a brand go off as he makes a decision that goes against the good of the envoy. But really, we already knew that in the worst case scenario, he would sell out everybody for himself in the most heartbreaking way, and it would not be an easy decision. It would just be what he has to do. It's like a mother with a baby who has to watch other family members go into a difficult and dangerous situation to protect her and her child. It might not be her decision if it was just her, but it's not just Loric in terms of the three spirits. They have their own baby that they're carrying with them at all times, trying to keep safe. And so no matter how heroic you are, it's very difficult to give your life and someone who's innocent and has no say, on top of it. So, yeah. So, heresy, what other layers do we have?
Sloth, violence, treachery, fraud. Sloth, violence, treachery, fraud.
Okay, remind me of sloth.
The mattress store. So you had to, they designed the perfect bed for you that was also like a kind of a jab, and then when you lied down and went to sleep on it, it would play over a day that you wish you had done something, or a situation where they know that it would be very difficult for you to refrain from acting. And the ultimate test is to see how many times do you have to do it before you realize the trick is I have to do nothing. I just have to sit back and watch it happen. So Maverick watched his brother die a bunch of times.
So we would go back to like 2 days ago, back in limbo, and I don't know how he would get out of that. I think he would just keep choosing a different option over and over again. If I were the kind of player that wouldn't refuse,
Yeah.
to make an option, then I think I wouldn't have known what to do. Someone would have had to get me out of there. So Sloth would have been tough. I think Sloth would have been the hardest thing, because the only thing that he's regretted really in life would be that one thing. So, I mean, I guess it's nice in a way that Loric kind of died with no regrets, now that I'm thinking about it.
Hashtag no regrets. Yeah.
Yeah, hashtag no regrets. Did everything that he could. It didn't work out, but he did what he could.
The bed that they designed for you that was ordered and is now sitting at Azai's house is a, like, sandbox, basically, because you woke up on the beaches. So
that's really cute.
Yeah. That's cute.
Yeah, laying his body to rest.
Aww.
Put the sand on top.
Aww. Yeah. And then violence was the boxing ring where you have to fight the things that challenge you most, basically.
Okay. I guess the spirits would fight each other, for sure.
Woo! Duke it out.
I think they love each other, and I think the thing that challenges them most is their love for each other. That all of them have different ways that they think Loric proper's life would be benefited. And even though they all kind of do this diplomatically and there's not really much tension there on the surface, I think if it were drawn out in this dramatic sort of magical way, that they definitely could have enhanced the tension that's there and drawn it forward and shown the struggle for them to fight rather than to not fight. I think that would have been interesting. Yeah.
The treachery was basically you had to put on a puppet show showing a time that you have deceived someone or lied to someone, or in Bart and Theo's case, because they have not done that, it was in what ways are you lying to yourself?
The little line that I gave Leica of I'm just trying to leave a piece of me with you, and I want to be like you. Was that after Hell? I think it was, right? In Paper Palimpsest?
I just want to leave a piece of me with you.
Yeah.
Yes, that was after Hell, because that was after our solo session.
Yeah. So then the only time that Hell could have to show any sort of deceit, anything, would just be him disguising himself and lying that he's somebody else. It would have been the ball. It would have been, yes, I am a Holloway.
I am Fletch.
Yes, I am Fletch. And then he would have gotten through that so fast. Been like, okay, whatever.
Yes! Easy!
My
Yeah,
poor
that's
little
crazy.
baby doesn't lie. You know?
He's like too perfect to go through Hell, it seems. Yeah. And then Fraud is the last one, and you would switch bodies with somebody else and have to live out their worst day ever. So I was DMing that one, if I had been swapping everybody around, I don't know who I would have swapped you with at the time, but now I'd want to see you.
3 people.
I'd want to see you live out my worst day, but I wasn't there. Oh, we'd have to switch with each other because we were both not there. So, what's Loric's worst day ever?
Now? Or then?
No, at the time of Hell. Now I'd say it's the day I died. Yeah.
Yeah. Loric's worst day ever was when Leica and Maverick fought. And it looked like
Yay!
Leica wouldn't forgive Maverick.
Yeah.
That I think was horrifying for him. And then a close second, I say close, but it's not really. It's just the only other thing that wouldn't really be a bad day for him would be when he helped kill Maverick's dad.
Yeah.
Because I think he feels very responsible for that. He took him up to the roof and he was trying to scare him, and then he falls out, right? And Maverick takes full responsibility for killing him, and I think so does Loric. Loric
Yeah.
thinks, okay, maybe he was dead before Maverick
Yeah.
really added a little punch in there, you know. I think that would be the worst day ever. But I also think that if I was in that session, I would have pitched, give me 3 bodies, and
Yeah.
3 players have to do that session, and 2 of them are sitting backseat and can't do anything, and 1 of them gets to decide what to do next.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And then I would be playing all of their worst days as fear, hope, and wrath, to kind of go, hey, how did you play all of our... Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not 3 people in one body. I'm not.
I'm not, guys.
I'm definitely.
If Loric and Leica had swapped days, and I think it would be the same worst day ever for Hugh, probably, you would be like watching our mom die and not being able to do anything about it. I would be in your body watching him argue with Maverick. Yeah. Or do you mean when Hugh is arguing with Maverick and going, like, because you don't know what it's like in those conditions? Or do you mean when Leica is arguing with Maverick?
On the beach.
Yeah.
On the beach when we were separated and Maverick hadn't shown up yet, and you're like, I'm never going to forgive him. He's the worst. I'm going to sulk over in the corner. When it really looked real. When it didn't look like a heat of the moment sort of thing. Okay. When it was like, oh no, this might be forever. She just won't talk to him. Yeah. That broke my heart in real life.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Let me check the recording really
happened.
Quick. Okay, we're still recording. Woo! Yeah, that'd be crazy. You are like everyone else is, you're experiencing a day from our childhood. Our mom's dying. This is horrible. Either one of us would be just watching ourselves being mad at someone. Ooh, that would hurt. That would hurt.
Yeah.
Woof.
It would be tough.
Yeah, but what, Jesse, talk to us about this last episode and this death, you sick freak.
Yeah, so obviously the goal originally was to slowly retract Loric from the spirits one by one. Originally, I was supposed to retract Wrath on the session before last, but I had forgotten. And it was like, oh shoot, now I have to really think about how I'm going to fit fear and wrath into one session. And I just kind of brainstormed. I was like, the only way I can do it is just be vicious with it.
Yeah.
I don't like railroading, because obviously this was a fixed point in time. It needed to happen for the story. But yeah, in the same time, even though this was somewhat railroaded, it did challenge me as a DM, because, Joe teleported 500 feet into the jungle.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, he is supposed to die. What do you mean?
And he did.
But so the original plan was there was going to be a puzzle, and they were all going to be on the ship. Loric was going to be in the captain's quarters having a discussion, all while everyone else is doing the puzzle, trying to get to you. And once they got to you, it was because we're going to go back and forth with initiative, and whenever it was Loric's turn, we're going to go back to the conversation, talk for a little bit, then go back to the puzzle and have it flow that way. once they reached to Loric, they were going to basically open the door right into the scene where he grabs your spine.
Mm.
So still like a nothing you can
Ew.
do kind of situation.
Mhm.
And he was going to open another dimension door, throw you through it, and
Mm.
assumingly try to follow you. Because I doubt they would try to, take on a lich by
Yeah.
themselves. So that was the original plan. Obviously, things changed and it worked out the way it did, and I like this way better. It was more emotional than just like a kill throat kind of thing.
Did I freak you guys out? Did I freak Jesse out when I started crying? I know I made Brooks cry. Did I freak you out, Jesse?
I mean, I expected it.
Okay.
To be fair, you did text me multiple times in the upcoming weeks. Don't tell me anything. I want to sob.
I did. I was so worried that you were gonna go, Joe, what do you think about this? And then send me whatever you were
Yeah.
gonna do, and then I would read it and not know what was gonna happen, and then not react. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to cry, and I did.
Yeah. So, with me explaining the death, do you want me to explain in like simple terms what Serpentros's goal was with this whole thing, or do we want to leave that for Lork to find out potentially, or
I mean,
us
that's
players to find
completely
out?
up to Joe.
What? I think
Yeah,
leave it. I think leave it
Yeah, leave it.
because Brooks, I assume, is still gonna watch the campaign, and I
Right.
think the players in game might find out.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Because he did mention it in his, I mean, you know me, I love monologues. He did mention it in his monologue, his kind of like, his goals and the reason why he was doing it. But in that case, we will leave it to the future.
Yeah.
I can't believe that he was gods.
What was it?
I can't believe that he was like godlike. The
Oh, yeah.
three purple bodies. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Because whenever they tried to fight back, I cast like I think it was like Cloud Kill at 9th level and took Heidi down in one hit. They were like, oh shoot, this is more than just a tough dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh! Brooks, I have a few rapid fire questions to end us off here if you don't have anything else to tie off of what we were just talking about.
I'll say very fast before it that I just loved how much Jesse trusted me in that session, because he did not text me beforehand and go, "You're gonna fight everybody, be ruthless." He just said, "You wanna kill everybody," and I went, "Okay." I try to impale Leica.
I was
Crazy.
hoping it would work. I don't know why. I have sort of a suicidal, and the idea of literally what Leica said. Are you gonna try to resist being grappled, picked up at all? No, it's Loric. He's not gonna hurt me. I was hoping that would be punctuated by me being impaled through the
wanted it too.
stomach on a spike. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
I didn't know if you would live it. I thought maybe you probably would. Maybe with some, future injury, but I really wanted it to happen too. And then Theo's too cool. So
Theo saved me. Yeah.
my only regret with that session was when you casted Gentle Repose and you were on like 2 HP.
Yes, I should have taken
as
damage,
the
but I
DM,
forgot.
I didn't realize as the DM that you should have taken damage either until it was mentioned in the bathroom break, and I was like, oh man, that would have been. I mean, I'm sure.
And I collapsed on top of him, and died too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, started rolling death saves, and I'm sure Maverick would have got there hopefully in time to cast Cure Wounds on you, but
Yeah. I think it would have been beautiful in a last breath for last breath kind of thing, and I used the last of the Kraken's magic to heal him, and then we could have explored waking up as a magicless Kiana. There's things that could have been explored there, but I think this maybe potentially nods at some bit of grace from the Kraken, that I didn't get hurt for this one. He let this one spell pass. And I've talked about Leica realizing that and certain plans that might happen with that anyway. So I think it works well either way, but it would have been very beautiful.
That could be a good beat for Leica for a conversation to have with the Kraken and be like, why?
Why did that happen? Yeah.
Why didn't
And it would be heartbreaking if it wasn't for you, if it was for me. Then for
my DM's right there! Don't say that in front of him! Yeah. My DM, me and him, but together, our brains. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you ready for some rapid fire, dude?
I'm so ready.
Is there anything you would change?
No, not at all. Everything's been perfect.
Where does your character want the party to go from here?
A funeral. Remember him.
Okay.
And this post to see who would come to my funeral.
Yeah.
And last one. What is the meaning of life, according to Loric?
According to Loric proper, I think the meaning of life is definitely the relationships that you make and what you can keep moving forward from, plane of existence to plane of existence, life to life, if you think about it that way, right? Who you can take with you because you've bonded to them so intensely. The spirits would definitely say getting that point to exist in the world, getting that part of Lord proper out there, so that way more people start to love each other.
Wow. Jesse, any final thoughts?
It's been fun.
We're gonna miss you, man.
He'll
be back.
Y'all too.
He'll be back to do other things. Yeah, you can watch in the call. You don't have to join like a peasant. Brooks will come back. He'll DM for us sometime, I'm sure. He'll run one shots. He's gonna have to come back and flirt with Jesse as Liana. I can't do it. So
all roads lead to flirting with Brooks.
So, he's gonna be around. He's gonna be in other stuff. You're not gonna miss BLJ. But, yeah, if you enjoyed this player interview, you can like, comment, and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. There's should be at least 2 out before this, and 4 more after. So, hang out, stay tuned, and drop an F in the chat for Loric, honestly.